Good morning. Welcome to Wit and Wisdom. We are almost done with Module 1. This is day 22 of Module 1. We are still on our new book, Sky Tree. Today, we are going to read the actual story. Yesterday, we just noticed and wondered on the illustrations and the paintings, and today we're going to actually read the story. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and share my screen with you so we can hear what Miss Sabella is going to share with us today. Great. Here we go.
Welcome back, amazing thinkers. Let's see what we need for today. Today we'll need Sky Tree, handout 26A, the revision paragraph, your journal, and a pencil. So please pause here to gather what you need and just hit play when you're ready to continue.
Okay, so you have your digital copy of Sky Tree, you have your journal, and you have a pencil. This handout 26A I have already uploaded onto Google Classroom so that you can do it later on your own. It only has 2 questions on it, so it'll go fast.
Just like a painter adds different colors to a palette to get a beautiful painting, authors use words very intentionally, which means they use words on purpose to paint a picture in your mind and to provide information to grow your knowledge. Today, we're going to take a close look at many of the words that the author chose to use in Sky Tree. The first time you completed a Notice and Wonder chart for Sky Tree, you focused on the paintings, the illustrations that were within the text. This time, when you notice and wonder, I'll be reading the text aloud. Listen closely for the words that the author used, and think about what you're noticing about those words, and also think about the questions that those words generate or make in your mind. Pause here to set up a Notice and Wonder T-chart in your journal.
Okay, so in your journal, we need to go to page 38. So yesterday, you noticed and wondered about the illustrations, the paintings, and Sky Tree. And remember, you were supposed to do 3 separate paintings. You were supposed to have 1 notice and 1 wonder for all 3. So that's 3 notices and 3 wonders. Okay, so today we are on page 38. Okay, we're still on Sky Tree. So you need to put the title on the top again. And you need to write and wonder, just like we did yesterday. Except this time, we're going to notice and wonder about the words or the text of the book. Okay, so here's what your page 38 needs to look like. If you need to pause and write this down, you can go ahead and then hit play when you're ready to go on. Okay. We are going to listen to Miss Sabella read the book to us.
And just hit play when you're ready to continue. Every student watching this video will notice and wonder in a different way. So I'm going to need your help. I will read the book all the way through, and I need you to pause where you'd like to jot down something that you notice or a question that you might have. I also want you to take charge. Pause and even scroll back if you need to listen to something again carefully. I want you to study or analyze the words of the author, just like you did when you analyzed the details in the painting. Listen closely What are you hearing? Why does it matter in this text? Really notice the words that the author chose and write down all those questions that you have, all those scientific questions that can help you think and explore and learn. Ready? Here we go. Sky Tree by Thomas Locker. Once a tree stood alone on a hill by the river. Through the long days, its leaves fluttered in the soft summer breeze. But then the days grew shorter and the nights longer. The winds became cold and the tree began to change. Autumn came. The leaves of the tree turned gold, orange, and red. Squirrels hurried to store nuts and acorns. The sun rose later each day. One morning, light glistened on a thin silver frost. By the end of the day, many leaves began to fall. First one, and then another. On a gray day, an old snapping turtle buried herself in the river mud, where she would sleep until spring. The tree's bare branches reached toward the sky. The clouds opened, and for a moment, the sky filled the branches. On a misty morning, a flock of birds landed where the tree's leaves had been. The birds chirped, squabbled, and sang. But suddenly, their wings beat the air, and they flew away. There were many interesting words on that page. I have so many questions. Clouds gathered and filled the tree's empty branches, and then drifted away. Ice formed on the river's edge. With its roots deep in the earth, the tree stood ready for winter. Snows fell. Snug in their nest, a family of squirrels huddled close through the cold winter days. At night, millions of stars twinkled among the branches of the tree. Beneath the river ice, the old snapping turtle slept. The world was waiting for spring. Late one afternoon, a golden light streamed through the clouds and warmed the tree. The ice on the river began to melt, and the snow disappeared into the ground. The smell of wet earth filled the air. Squirrels raced through the fresh grass and up the tree. Sap rose to the tree's tight buds. I am noticing a lot of change, and I know you are too. Be sure to jot it down. The old snapper crawled out of the mud to lay her eggs on the warm hillside. The tree's leaves uncurled in the spring sunlight, and the birds returned to build nests for their young. The tree stood on the hill by the river. Once again, its leaves fluttered in the soft summer breeze. Don't forget, the really cool thing about a video lesson is you're in charge. If you'd like to scroll back on the timeline to listen to something again closely, or to look at the illustration closely, you can do that here. Pause to go back to add to your Notice and Wonder chart, and then just hit play to continue to the next part of our lesson.
Okay, so what I want you to do is go ahead and make sure that you are filling in your notice in your wonder chart. And like Miss Sabella said, you can go back and listen again, look at the illustrations, listen to her reread the story. I would like for you to have 3 notices and 3 wonders. Okay, there's a lot of information in this story, a lot of questions that you could ask, a lot of things that you could notice. So I want you to have 3 notices and 3 wonders. And then when you have those, go ahead and push play so that you can finish up the lesson. So I have 3 notices and 3 wonders, and I'm going to share them with you. So I said, I noticed the leaves are changing colors. I noticed the birds on the branches look like leaves, and I want to show you which picture I'm talking about. This page right here. If you notice all the birds, it kind of looks like there are leaves on the trees, the way that they're sitting on there. So that's one of the things I noticed. And I said, notice the animals have come back. And I was talking about this picture. You see that there's little squirrels and I think a bunny rabbit. And then on this picture, the snapping turtle has come back. So I noticed that the animals have come back. And some things that I wondered is I wonder what is across the river? If you look in the first few pictures, you can see there's something over there. See that right there? You can see it on the next picture too. It's right there again. Something there. I wonder what that is. I wonder if it's a house or if it's a barn. And what does glisten mean? I heard that word in one of these stories, and in one of the pages. I'm sorry. Let me see if I can find it. Ah, one morning, light glistened on a thin silver frost. I wonder what that word means. And another wonder I had was, how did the sky fill the branches? That was something that Miss Sabella, and I was just kind of curious. It said clouds gathered and filled the tree's empty branches and then drifted away. How did it do that? So those were my notices and my wonders. So if you need some more time, go ahead and pause and make sure you have 3 notices and 3 wonders. And then you can go ahead and hit play.
How does Thomas Locker communicate to us about change in this text? Another way of saying that is, how does Thomas Locker tell us about change using the words and illustrations in this text? I'd like you to pause here so you can think about that question, or if you can, discuss it with a learning partner. What did Thomas Locker do to make the changes that were happening very obvious to us as readers? Just hit play when you're ready to continue.
Okay, so we're going to go back and we're going to listen to that question again because I want you guys to really understand what she is asking you. Let's listen again.
This text. Another way of saying that is, how does Thomas Locker tell us about change using the words and illustrations in this text? I'd like you to pause here so you can think about that question, or if you can, discuss it with a learning partner. What did Thomas Locker do to make the changes that were happening very obvious to us as readers? Just hit play when you're ready to continue.
Okay, so let's look at the book. Okay, so how does the author and the illustrator, he's both, how does he make it seem, how does he make us understand that this tree is changing and that the seasons are changing? What's going on in all of these illustrations? They're all about the same tree. But what's happening to the tree? What's happening around the tree? What are some things that we have talked about in Module 1 that show change that we see in these paintings? Go ahead and talk to your learning partner around you and tell them what you're thinking. So what I'm seeing is the book starts off and the tree is in summer. There's lots of green leaves, lots of pretty green grass. There's animals all over. But then something starts to happen. There's a change coming. And I can tell that the change is coming because look at this big storm cloud coming through. This makes me think that there's a change on the way. And then I see that the leaves have turned all orange and yellow, and the grass is turning all yellow. And these squirrels are down here and they're busy. And we know what happens to squirrels in the fall. What do? They start looking for nuts and they start trying to store up food for the winter. I know that leaves turn orange and yellow and brown in the fall because the tree no longer needs them to make food for the tree. And then all the leaves are falling off the tree. And now the branches are bare. And it looks like it's cold in this picture, doesn't it? It just looks foggy, misty. All the bare branches. But then it's covered in snow. So now I think it's winter. Still winter. But look, now it's like things are melting. Maybe it's becoming spring. Oh, and there's the beautiful sun and the grass is turning green again. And you can see all of the little tree leaf buds all over that tree. I think it's springtime. Everything's green again. There's lots of green leaves. And then in the end, it tells us summer breezes. The leaves flutter in the soft summer breezes. So I think that what the author and the illustrator have done in this text is they've made it very, very easy for us to see how the tree changes throughout the seasons, how it goes from summer to fall to winter to spring back to summer, and what happens to the tree during those seasons and what happens to the animals and the area around it. Even the river, we were able to see how the river changed from being a flowing, beautiful river to being covered in ice. So he was able to show us how the seasons change things and how the weather affects the animals and the plants and everything else around it. Okay, so let's go back to Miss Sabella.
We can learn even more about Skytree by looking very closely or examining words that Thomas Locker chose to use in this text. We're going to examine these words using one of my all-time favorite strategies called outside in. So let's have a go. Pause here to write these two words in your journal. First, write the word disappeared, count down 6 lines, and then write the word uncurled. Just hit play when your journal is all ready with these two words, and then we'll get started.
Okay, so you need to get out your vocabulary journal. We are going to add these two words to our vocabulary. You need to turn to page 20 of your vocabulary journal. Let me so far what we have. So we have had the vocabulary words for why do leaves change colors and sky tree for about a week and a half now. you had the word shape and separate on one page, on page 15. Then you had absorb and uncurled on page 16. Disappear and chlorophyll on page 17. Flutter and huddle on page 18. Drift and stream on page 19. And today we're going to go to page 20. You're going to put a 20 on the bottom of your page. And then we're going to add the two words that Miss Sabella wanted us to put on the page, which are the words disappeared. We already have disappear. And we already have uncurled. So we don't have to do that. We already have them. We just need to make sure that we go back and look at them. So let's listen to her definitions of the two words.
Let's examine the word disappeared. When we use the outside-in strategy to examine words, first we look outside of the word in the sentence that surrounds the word. So let's take a look at that. The ice on the river began to melt, and the snow into the ground. What's going on in this sentence? What's happening to that snow? When we think about those context clues, which means the words around the word we're examining, it can give us a clue into the meaning of the word that we're examining. Tell your learning partner, what's happening to the snow? What does disappeared mean?
Okay, so tell your partner what you think the word disappeared means.
The second part of outside in is to zoom in closely on the word and to look at the parts of the word. So today we'll look at the prefix and also the base word or the root word. Dis means opposite. Dis also means away. And if we think about the base word inside disappear, that word is appear. And appear means we can see it. It's there. It's appeared. It's come before us. Dis means the opposite is happening, which means something is going away. Tell your learning partner, what is going away? What's beginning to melt into the ground?
Tell your learning partner what is going away and what is going into the ground.
In my journal, I wrote a simple definition for disappeared. Disappeared means went away. I also wanted to remember what the different parts of the word meant. So I drew a little diagram with arrows. Dis means not, and appear means visible. Or you can write the word seen. Not visible, not seen. Pause here to write a definition for disappeared in your journal.
Okay, so you may already have the definition written in your journal from the vocabulary study guide that I gave you, but I also want you to write in your journal what Miss Sabella has on her paper, okay? If you need to write it underneath your illustration, that is fine. But you need to write it exactly the way she has it, with the words separated and everything. Please do it right now. Pause the video, and then you can hit play when you're ready to continue.
and then just hit play when you're ready to continue. Now it's your turn. Let's go to another page, and it'll be your turn to examine a word using outside in. The word you'll examine is uncurled. And if you're using the outside in strategy, remember, first you start with the context clues that are outside of the word. Look at the sentence and the words that surround the word that you're examining. Pause here to read the sentence and to think about, are there clues in this sentence that can help you determine or figure out what the word uncurled means? Pause here to do that now, and then hit play when you're ready to continue.
Okay, so we're going to do the same thing that she did with the word disappeared. We're going to look at the word uncurled. Think about what the leaves do in the springtime. In the winter, they're all balled up into a little ball. They're curled up, okay? And in the springtime, they uncurl. So they're doing the opposite of being curled, okay? So let's think about it for a second. What do you think the word uncurled means? Okay, let's listen to what Miss Sabella is going to tell us.
You've examined the outside of the word. Now it's time to examine in. Zoom in on uncurl and break the word into two parts, un and then curl. Un is the prefix, curl is the base word. By breaking this word into parts and knowing that each part has its own meaning, that can help you determine or figure out the meaning of this word. What does un mean? Think about that, or discuss it with your learning partner. What does curl mean? Or what does it look like? Are you getting a picture in your mind? Think about curled, and then try to picture uncurled. What's happening to that leaf? Now I'd like you to pause to write a definition for the word uncurled. Take your time and then just hit play when you're ready to continue to the next part of our lesson. Why is revision important? Revision is important.
Okay, so let's go back. So what do you think the definition of uncurled would be? So I know that curled means that it's like wound. It's like it's wound around something. If I uncurl it, I'm going to straighten it out. Okay. So to uncurl, so the prefix un means not. So I have the prefix not, and curl means to be like twisted, twisted. So if it's not twisted, then uncurl, it would be to straighten out, to not be twisted. Okay, so again, I want you to pause the video, add this to the bottom of your definition for uncurled, okay? Pause it, write this in, make sure you have it broken apart, the prefix, the root word, and the suffix broken apart. Thank you for doing that. Do that now and then hit play when you're ready to continue. Oops, I wrote it myself. Okay.
Why is revision important? Revision is important because your words matter. Just like Thomas Locker, you are an author. Every time you write, and your words matter. It's so important to reread them to make sure you've chosen the words that you want to use to communicate with others. Pause here to grab handout 26A and your pencil, and then just hit play when you're ready to continue.
Okay, so you do not have a copy of this, but this is something that I have given you in the Google Classroom. You have a copy already. So we're going to listen to Miss Sabella, and then you're going to go back and do it on your own. And that's going to help me know if you've actually paid attention and watched the video.
Today, you'll have a chance to practice revising or changing to improve a paragraph about trees. Let's take a look at the directions and the question at the top of the handout. Draw arrows to show where the sentences to add belong in the draft paragraph, so all of the sentences make one informative paragraph. Here's the question. How do changing seasons impact the leaves of deciduous trees? When a paragraph is missing important pieces, writers can revise it by adding more sentences. The sentences to add are: the leaves on trees change in every season. In the autumn, the leaves change color and fall off. Look up at the draft paragraph and draw arrows from the sentences to add to where they belong in the draft paragraph in order to make the draft paragraph a whole informative paragraph. Pause here to do that now, and then just hit play when you're ready to continue.
So let me show you where it is at in your Google Classroom. You can go ahead and do it now. How do I make this smaller? Okay, there we go. So you're going to go to your Google Classroom.
Let's Coral read this paragraph.
Gosh, Miss Bella, for a second. Okay, so in Wit and Wisdom Week 1, oh, hold on. It hasn't posted to yours yet. Okay, let's see. Here it says Thursday, handout 26A, revision paragraph. So you're going to click on it. And it is a Google form, okay? So you're going to answer, write your name, first and last name. And then it says, which of the following two sentences would be the best for the topic statement? The topic statement is the first sentence of the paragraph. And here's the draft. See this big empty line? That is where one of these two sentences is going to go. So we're missing our topic statement. Then it says, in the spring and summer, trees grow green leaves. Then we're missing the third sentence. Trees do not have any leaves in the winter. Trees' leaves change with the seasons. So which of these two sentences would go best in the first missing sentence only? Would it be, in the autumn, the leaves change color and fall off? Or would it be, the leaves on the trees change in every season? So you're going to pick which one of those two you think goes in the first missing sentence. And then down here, you're going to choose which one goes in the third missing sentence, okay? So the first box is for the first sentence. The second box is for the third sentence. Okay, so you're just going to click the box of whichever one that you think it is. So go ahead and do that now. You can minimize your screen, open up a separate tab. You guys see up here, I have all these little tabs open. You can just go to classwork, open up your tab, and it'll pop open and it won't take you off of the Zoom meeting. Okay, go ahead and do that now. Pause the video, go ahead and do that now, and then you can hit play when you are done.
Which means let's read this paragraph together. The leaves on trees change in every season. In the spring and summer, trees grow green leaves. In the autumn, the leaves change color and fall off. Trees do not have any leaves in the winter. Trees' leaves change with the seasons. Now I want you to think about this question. How did revising this paragraph make this paragraph stronger? Think about this on your own. Whisper your thinking to me or discuss it with your learning partner. Then just hit play when you're ready to wrap up our video lesson.
So how did revising that paragraph make it better? I want you to think about that for a few seconds. Tell your learning partner how you think it helped make it better. Okay.
Words and illustrations are equally important, and it's important to take time to examine both closely. We can learn so much about a text by looking at both the words that an author provides and the illustrations in a text. Keep examining things closely and don't forget to question. It's so important. I will see you again soon.
Okay, so here's one more thing that I want for you to do today. We have done our notice and wonder chart on Skytree. What I want you to do on page 39 is we are going to answer that question on how does revising the paragraph make it better. I'm actually going to pause my recording for just a second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So on page 39 of your knowledge and response journal, 39, you're going to write the question, how does revising my paragraph make it better? Okay, and remember guys, this is your opinion. I mean, think about what we just did with the paragraph that Miss Sabella gave us on the handout. When you added those two new sentences, you revised that paragraph. How did adding those two sentences and revising that paragraph make it better? That's what I want you to tell me. I mean, you can tell them, and this is your opinion. So there's no right or wrong answer for this. Okay. So I want you to tell me how you think revising a paragraph makes it better. Okay. So you're going to do that on page 39. So before we go, make sure that you are doing your fluency tonight. Make sure that you finish page 39. And I think that is it. Let me look to make sure that's all that we have for today. Make this smaller. Okay. Let me go look in the classroom. So, oh, you have a question set to do today. Yes. Okay, so you have handout 26A where you're going to choose the paragraph sentences for revision. And you also have a question set to take today. And guys, remember, everything has to be done by Friday afternoon. You have 2 days to get your work done from now on before you are counted as being absent from class that day. So if I assign this on Thursday, you have Thursday and Friday to get it finished. Okay, so we can't be waiting for weeks and weeks to get our work done anymore. It's got to be done within 2 days or you are counted absent. All right. So answer the question on page 39. Take your question set, and you should have done the revision paragraph already in class because I did tell you to pause the video and do it then. And that's all that we have for today. So I hope you guys have a great afternoon, great rest of the day. I'll see you in phonics class. Bye, guys.